So what we're going to do, we're going to just talk through the chorus of the song, and later we'll talk through the bridge of the song. It's just, yeah, anyway, the bridge is a piece of that song besides the verses. We'll see how this goes. It's fast moving, but I'm going to slow it way down. So we'll get started. My lighthouse, we're going to repeat that twice. That's the first line. So my is very easy. You just put your hand right on your chest, just like you would if you were talking to your friends or something. Lighthouse is going to be both hands. Now, here's where I know that you are right-handed. Your mom told me. I'm right-handed. So when you're looking at this, it may look left-handed to you. So I may do some turning to help you out a little bit. But lighthouse, we use our left hand across in front of the chest and just have your palm kind of like that, face down. Then you're going to make the lighthouse with your elbow on your hand. Now you've got to make the light. So we're going to use the letter C in the signed alphabet, and you're going to swing that out and back. I love this sign. It's active, and it just shows you what the lighthouse is doing. So we're going to go back to my, prop your hand, lighthouse. My lighthouse. Got that? Okay, it's shining in the darkness. Shining, you're going to use some open hands, both hands. You're going to make them go up and wiggle and out. Shining. Light is like this, but shining is making that light go like this. So shining in, you're going to make a little cup with your left hand. It doesn't have to be closed. And then your right hand is going to pinch your fingers to the thumb, and you're going to put it in your other hand. In. That's pretty simple. So shining in. Now here comes the darkness, and I like this one too. Your hands need to be facing you. So you're going to bring them out to the sides and put them in front of your eyes like it's dark. Isn't that cool? So shining in the darkness. Did you follow me? Shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Index finger of your right hand, and you just poke your chest. Just use your index, because if you use different fingers, it means different things to the deaf folks. So I will now follow you. You can use the word will, or you can drop it. Some of these words you don't have to use, but I'll just show you. Will is in the future, out there. This is the here and now. That's the past. Will goes forward, kind of like a little nice chop. I will follow. We're going to use our 10 hands. This is 10 in sign language. I'm going to put my left hand forward this time, and my right's going to follow behind. You can make it come from you out forward, follow, or you can make it wiggle a little bit if you want to. I've seen them do that on other videos. So I will follow you, and you can either point up or put your palm up. What you do when you're talking about God or Jesus, you point up and generally off to the right. So you and to the right. A left-hander would do it the opposite way. Okay, my lighthouse, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness. Are you following me? I will follow you. That in the words sometimes they say oh, and basically what I've seen is they just take kind of bent clawed hands and do this. Oh. And then it repeats the my lighthouse twice. Now it says I will trust the promise. Back to I, and the will sign, trust. Trust is a firm word. When you trust in something, you're pretty sure. So you take your hands and close them in front of you and kind of drop them like, I mean this. I trust God. I will trust the promise. Promise comes out of your mouth. It goes like this. Then you change that hand and smack your S hand. That's an S. Promise. Kind of stamp it like for sure. I will trust that promise of God. I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. You, here comes the will, carry me. Yep, looks like you're carrying something left to right. Remember, you're right-handed, left to right. Carry me. Me and I are the same. Or just poke yourself in the chest. Safe. Use your S hands. Those thumbs go in front of your fingers. And you cross and uncross. Safe to. Left index up. Right index is going to poke it straight. Because if you curve it, it looks like a different word. Safe to shore. Shore is kind of fun. Shores are flat-ish, and you just bring your hands out and around. From yourself, out and around in front. Safe to shore. Let's go through the whole chorus that we just did. So I'll go slow enough. My lighthouse, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. And they do that 3 times. Safe to shore, safe to shore, safe to shore. I was going to say something. Now I don't remember what it was. Anyway, that's the chorus. So what if we put it to music? Are you ready for that? Let's see what happens if we put it to a little bit of music here, just the chorus part.
My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore.
When you're signing, use your face. As we speak English and to hearing people, we use our faces to express excitement or surprise or anger or whatever. And you have to do that when you're signing, because otherwise you'd have a flat song. Your flat face, flat song. So use your face, and you're going to notice as I go, I'm going to get pretty excited about this song because I love this song as much as you do. Okay, let's try and work through the bridge. It's the fire before us part. Fire before us, you're the brightest. So fire, you're going to use those open 5 hands again, and they're going to be facing you, and you're going to start from low, and you're going to wiggle them up. You could do something like that crazy if you want to too, but that's fire before us. You're going to use your right hand facing left, and your left hand facing right before. I use this sign a lot when I'm thinking of God and me coming to God. We're facing something. So fire before us. This is kind of tricky. This is a U hand. We're going to put it at our shoulder on the right and swing it out in an arc to our left shoulder. That's us. Some people do it upside down, but I've never picked up that habit, and you could do it either way. Fire before us. You're the brightest. You are E-R-E, you're the brightest. As opposed to your possessive. You're the brightest. And so then with bright, we're going to add the ist ending to it. Bright is just not like shiny. It's just bright. It's bright light. Light, bright. So you're the brightest. And we're going to take our hand like we're wiping our mouth off. We got milk or chocolate on it. And you go back to a 10 thumb right there. Fire before us. You're the brightest. You will lead us. You will, there's the will, lead. We're going to take our left hand and we're going to grab our right fingers and pull it forward. A leader is kind of pulling people forward. So you will lead us. Here's the us again. Put your you over here and right shoulder and curve it around and land on your left shoulder. Fire before us. You will lead us through the storm. Through can be either your left hand's out there facing you and you've got your flat palm hand through the third and 4th finger, or you can do it, I think, through the first. I've seen different ways, but I tend to do it this way because that's the way I learned. You lead us through. You can see your hand going through those fingers, through the storms. I like this one too. Bottom hand left is whirling around and the top hand's whirling through the storms. I guess it's plural. So, and it repeats the same line, and so we'll just do that all together. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Pretty simple, I think. And then that on that second time through, they do hey. So I forgot about that. The music will do that. Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storm. Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storms. Hey. And then it repeats again, and you don't use the hey on the fourth time. And then it goes back to the chorus. So maybe we'll fire up that part of the song right now and see if we can get through it. See if I can remember it. So.
Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storms. Hey! Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest, you will lead us through the storms. My lighthouse.
So now that we've finished the chorus and the bridge, I'm going to give you time to break and maybe review that yourself. And then I'm going to go on to the verses, just each verse by themselves. Then we'll put the whole thing together. So verse 1 is in my wrestling. In, and you know my. That's pretty easy. Wrestling is more like thoughts, wrestling with thoughts of God and Jesus, not wrestling on a mat. But the sign, you take your 5 fingers and intertwine them and you shake them. That's wrestling. You're wrestling with something. And in this case, it's doubts. So in my wrestling and in my doubts, we don't have to sign and. In my doubts. Doubts is the same sign for blind. And you take a V finger, this is V, you're going to turn it around in your right hand, and you're going to bring it down in front of your eyes and your nose, like you're blind. So in my doubts. And sometimes if you do it twice, it's plural. So in my wrestling, in my doubts, in my failures, in my failures is the V fingers again. We're going to pretend like it's kind of like a person, and you're going to turn it down on the other palm and move it out across the tips of the finger and down. That's a failure. Looks like something failed and went off the edge there. In my failures, you won't walk out. You won't. Won't and don't are the same sign, and you use an A hand. The thumb's over here, it's not sticking up. And you just flick it off your chin. Won't, you won't walk out. And that's leave. You take your hands and just, leave. We probably use that, just leave, So it's interesting, they're similar to what we would use. So let's try those 2 sentences together. In my wrestling, in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. The next part of that, and it's kind of the same for all the verses pretty much, your great love will lead me through. Your great. Great is usually a double sign, but sometimes it's just, depending on how much time you have to sing, just hit it once. So it's you're like patting the air. That's great or wonderful. Your great love, make your S hands and bring them across your chest. Keep them closed, because if you do this, it means peace. So there's a difference. Your great love will, there's the will again, will lead me through. There's the through again. Right hand goes through the left hand. You are, and you don't have to say are you are the peace. You're going to take your kind of 5 fingers together, and you're going to kind of have them slanted and crisscross them and uncross them, and then out like this, like it's calm. Peace. You are the peace in my troubled sea. We don't have to say troubled. We're just going to make the sea look really troubled. So some of them start with an S because the word sea starts with an S, and then they go into just bounce. Just if you had a sea like this, it'd be calm. But this is a troubled sea. That's the things in my life that are troubled, in my troubled sea. And here's the whoa, oh. You are the peace in my troubled sea. So in my wrestling, in my doubts, in my failures, You won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. You are the peace in my troubled sea. That goes into the chorus, which we won't do. So the second verse is, in the silence, you won't let go. In the silence. That's kind of like peace, but you're going to add the shush sign like your teacher might do at school. And you don't say the shush. Just in the silence, you won't let go. You're going to join these fingers together and then pull them apart. They were joined, now they're apart. So you won't let go. In the questions, now this is kind of funny. You use your indexes pointing forward and you kind of curve them and bring them back at you. Kind of like that. Questions. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your truth, coming out of your mouth, truth, will hold. Take your thumbs, and I tend to put one thumb on the other and push it forward. Steady, it's hold, it will stay there. So then it goes to your great love. Let's go in the silence. In the silence, you won't let go. I'm having trouble with that sign. In the questions, your truth will hold. Then it goes to your great love. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Okay, that's verse 2. And that would have had a chorus. We're going to skip that for now. Verse 3. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. There's the won't. Fear. Fear is kind of a fun one too. You get your hands out here and then you let your fingers go. You won't fear. And you sometimes need to use your body. I won't fear what tomorrow is in the future, brings, or what happens in the future. Instead of, there is a word for bring, but we're not going to use that one. What tomorrow brings is, you're going to have your indexes face up and you're going to bring them around and bring them down so that they're flip-flop the other way. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning, I'll rise and sing. So with is a nice word. You just bring your hands out here. Again, they're open. And you close them to like A hands. With each. Here's where you're going to strike one hand on the other. Each. With each morning. Now, we're going to make a horizon with the left arm, and the right one is going to be palm up, and you're going to bring it up like the sun's coming up. With each morning. With each morning, I'll rise. I'll stand up. Get your V fingers out. Stand. And sing. And you can do this. You notice me doing this with the music beat. Kind of like this is my songbook and I'm leading the music or something. I get into the rhythm with that, and it's fun to do, and you can do it too. I'll say, then the last part of that verse changes a little bit from the other ones. My God's love. So my God, you bring your closed hand, it's not closed, but it's all together. You're going to go from bottom up and just down, kind of like towards your face. God, this is God, he's up there. And he's kind of with us then too, isn't he? God's love, this over here, will lead me through. Same as we did. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. You can do that if you want. You are the peace in my troubled sea. And then there's an O and a you are my light. That's just a little ditty they put in there. So you are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are my light. And he just says that in the song. And then it goes into My Lighthouse. So we're going to do the whole song with the music top to bottom and see how it goes. It's fast, so catch what you can.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are my light, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore.